She has also been a member of various organizations as well as speakers in different conferences and trainings. Like for instance, she was part of the most recently concluded international conference in Butuan in February. And aside from that, she was also part of the project on the development of Android-based class record for teachers, the Pugan, an online database of food recipes with indigenous ingredients, developing a community-based online repository of medicinal, coastal, and marine resources, which is a current content management system. She has also attended IT-related trainings, and with that, we are so happy that she actually accepted our invitation to share with us her knowledge on data harvesting. Before we start this afternoon session, I'd like to remind everyone that this is a recorded session, and later on we will also be asking from the audience. After the question and answer portion, we will also be asking the audience for a post webinar or post e-talk evaluation. And so I guess without further ado, we could start our e-talk for this afternoon. Again, thank you very much for being with us, and we are now ready to hear from our presenter on data harvesting from social media. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Assistant Professor Marian Yao.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming or logging in and willing to listen to my topic on data harvesting from social media. I hope at the end of this talk, I hope that you'll be able to learn something from my talk. Unfortunately, I have some issues with my camera. I have been loading with my camera since this 2:30 p.m. but I don't know what's going on. I cannot show my face. So just imagine my face na lang using with the picture on it that you can see on the slide. Okay, allow me to upload first my presentation. Okay. In this world, we have a lot of data, and if you can see, we are already in GCQ, and a lot of people are already have seen. There are a lot of people going outside, and it's also the same. A lot of people that are going outside. That means there's a lot of traffic, and that's also the same in the networks, wherein there's a lot of data that has been shared, created every second of the day. And I will be talking about how you can handle or how you can collect data from social media this afternoon. As an overview, I will be talking first on what is social media, and then we'll try to understand what is data harvesting and the different processes of data harvesting, and then other ways to harvest the data. And the last part is to determine or identify what are the advantages of using data extraction tools. Social media. So in the social media, we have been hearing a lot of, I know that you have been experiencing using social media, but let's try to take a look at what is social media or how is it being defined. This definition is taken from communications.pufcs.edu, and they define social media as the means of interaction among people, wherein virtually we interact with each other, even though we don't see each other, but we know there's the presence of each other through the network, and in which these people will create, share, and or exchange information and ideas in the virtual communities and networks, meaning we are up there, although we are here physically in our own place or own location, but we're actually sharing a lot of ideas or sharing a lot of media in terms of text, in terms of video, audio, anything that you can share online. So there's there's a massive of data that has been shared. So in the social media, you do interaction with people through the virtual network. And this could be done by using different social media tools or applications. And there's a lot of applications there that will allow us to provide or share content, and all you have to do is to choose them, and what suits you will be the one that you can use. But the most popular is Facebook. These are the different popular social media tools and platforms. Um, the first one is the blog, and one popular blog is WordPress. Some of you might also heard about Blogger, and they're kind of, it's a blog is a short term for weblog, wherein you can write down everything that you want to share to your readers or to your audience, and it's for free, and then you can share anything that you want. It's more on a text, and you can also upload pictures, videos if you want to. For Facebook, by Mark Zuckerberg, this has been used for us to be able, massively used by us, to be able to share anything that we want to share, our opinions, our concerns, anything that you'd like, our ideas, anything that you'd like to share, you can share it in Facebook. For Twitter, Twitter is a social networking platform as well, but the difference here is that Twitter will allow you to microblog, meaning you only have a limited text that you can post, and it's, I think, 140 characters limit. Unlike in Facebook, where in Facebook can have a very long content of text that you can upload, but for Twitter, it's only allowing you to upload a very short size of text, which is what we call a microblogging platform. For YouTube and Vimeo, these are video hosting and watching websites, and you can see a lot of documentary videos or films, or anyone can even upload a video. People will also be uploading vlog. It's different from the blog, wherein blog is the weblog, while vlog is the video log, wherein we can do our own recording on what's happening to our lives, or if you want to make your own DIY videos, then you can do that and then upload it in YouTube or Vimeo. For Flickr and Instagram, these are uh, image and video hosting websites for community, wherein most of it you can see, if you're going to log into Instagram or Flickr, you can see pictures most of the time. It's not on the text, not more on text, but rather more on video, more on pictures, and wherein people who are fond of taking good photos, they can upload it there on Flickr and Instagram. For Instagram, it has also features that wherein filters are also available prior to uploading your photos to make your core photos enhanced before uploading. A Snapchat is a kind of mobile application that will allow users to send photos and videos to friends or to their story. But this one, these stories are called snaps, and they disappear after viewing or after 24 hours. That is in Snapchat. And for LinkedIn groups, it's also a kind of social media wherein professionals gather in this site or tool, and wherein they can share or show their interest for or showing their interest on what kind of work that they would like to have, and then as well as what are their job experiences or current job that they have. So those are the different social media tools, but there's a lot of available out there. It's not only limited to these different tools and platforms. You can explore on more of them. Now, since we understood already a social media, let's move on to data harvesting. Um, because if you're going to go back, these are different. The social media tools that I have presented to you are already like 10 of them, and a lot of people have been using it. And so just imagine that every now and then people are posting content or media using those tools. Some of them also are posting at the same time through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because there's already a way for you to upload um, at one time, but three platforms will be targeted for posting. So just like that, if you're going to think of it that way, there's a massive of data that is available out there in the network. So data harvesting can be used or is basically defined by getting data and information from the online source. So what could be the online source? These are the social media, and you can also get it from the blogs. You can also get it from any news sites or any sites available on the network or the internet. You do the process of extracting, representing, and analyzing trends and patterns from raw social media data. You can use that and then come up with analysis later on what this data means to a certain condition or case. Okay? And data harvesting is also called as web mining or data scraping, or it's also called as data extraction or web scraping. So you can see there on the left side where you can see ones and zeros like they are plants being planted to the soil, and it's later on we're going to harvest that one. And from the word harvesting, it's being derived from the agricultural process of harvesting, wherein I would like to quote this one, wherein a good is collected from a renewable source, and in this case, the renewable source is the social media that we have, because data found on the internet certainly qualifies as a renewable source, as more is generated every day, because every now and then we generate data we share content, and we also interact with them. That's why you can see it as a land with a lot of data, but these data are in the form of ones and zeros, and you harvest them and then use that later on for analysis. So since we already know what data harvesting is, and we also have social media tools, how do we harvest data, and how do we harvest data from the social media, that we have? Because we have a lot of data out there, all you have to do is to just type in, basically if you go to Chrome, Google, to search a specific topic, then you will be given an answer. And how do you harvest data? So just like the old times, you can do these different possibilities. Like the first one is the manual or traditional. Since there's no computer before in the old times, what we do is that we just write it down and then collect all of the data, write them down on a piece of paper, and then just arrange them accordingly. And also, aside from that, aside from writing, you also take pictures or you do some recording, and then you arrange your data at the end of the collection. And that's basically harvesting of data. But aside from that, so you can also print, you can also type rather, you can also copy and paste if you want to from the sources of a specific website or online social media tools that you are currently visiting, and just select what will be the pertinent data that you're going to use for your research later on. That's basically manual or traditional. But however, because again, we have a massive of data available, and data has been generated every now and then because people have access to our social media. It takes a lot of time for us to copy and paste all of this data. So there's also the web scraping applications that are available for you to be able to install to your computer, and then just install it and let it run, and then specify where is the part of the in your website that you would like to collect. Then you can do so, so that you don't need to do typing or copying and pasting, and then it consumes a lot of time for you to do that, most especially a lot of data that's going to be collected, because we're not talking about 10, 20, 30, or hundreds. We're talking about thousands or millions of data that could be collected in a certain amount of time. So you can use web scraping applications, just run it and then let it execute that application, and it will collect for you. And it's going to generate a spreadsheet file, so that it's already organized in terms of a spreadsheet format. The Chrome extension is also another tool that you can install, where you can put it. It's a kind of an application, but you don't need to really download an installer and install it, but rather you just go to Google Chrome Web Store and then look for web scrapers that you can see there. Any web scrapers will do, and then just install it or click the install button there, and that you can already see it in your web browser. right beside your address bar. Okay. The API is basically used for programmers so that they just do some coding and then make their own program for them to be able to collect some data. And API stands for Application Program Interface. And like Facebook, Twitter, they have their own API that can be used by programmers, and then you do the programming. So that's already the high-level part of harvesting the data. These are the different web scraping tools available, although you can just search it in Google. In Google, what will be the available web scraping tools? You can do that, but these are some top of the web scraping tools. Some of these are desktop applications. Some also are Chrome extensions. Okay. And you can search these different tools. So what will happen here is that the tools or the data that has been collected by these different by a specific web scraping tool will be transformed or will be placed right away into a Microsoft Excel sheet or into a CSV file. And then you can now use your CSV or your Excel file for you to use your data. So let me point out the Tabula. The Tabula is basically an application that will allow you to copy the content inside the table without using the copy and paste feature in our computer, because there might be a time that you have thousands of rows that you want to copy or extract rather, but you cannot do that by copying and pasting. So all you have to do is to identify that will be the table that you want to extract the data, and then just use the application, which is the Tabula, which is basically a Chrome extension. So this is an example of what I have done using the Tabula, wherein I tried to search about coronavirus cases. I did not specify whether it's going to be Philippines or whatever, but this is the result that came out, wherein it gave me a list of countries and as well as the confirmed cases, the recoveries, and the deaths. Okay, and notice that there are a lot of numbers and a lot of data here. So what you can do is that if you want to use this data later on, probably to make your own chart, if you want to, then you can do so. But it would be tedious if you're going to copy and paste it to your Microsoft Excel. Now, this one uses the Tabula Chrome extension that allows you to identify what will be the table that you want to use, and then you right-click on the table. Once you right-click on the table, you will be able to see the command wherein you have table capture. Okay. If you're going to click on the table capture, it will help you capture the data inside that table, which is enclosed in the red outline. Okay, whatever that can be found in this table in the website, that's where the data will be captured. So just right click on the table capture, and then you will be given an option if you want to load a different view for that one, for you to customize your data or collection or extraction of your data. So here you can see your settings, and then you also can see the preview data, wherein you have already the summary of how many data that you can capture, this part. And then you can also have columns, how many columns of data, which is 4 already, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you also have the option, take note, by the way, this is in Google Chrome, so you don't need to install anything, but just look for the Chrome extension. This one will allow you to copy. If you want to copy the entire data, then just click this one. This is to transform or put your data in a Google spreadsheet if you want to. The rest of this, I believe that you have to pay for you to be able to convert it into a CSV format or into an Excel format and so on, because you have the Pro version here. Probably this will be enabled if the Pro version has been paid in this case. Now, if you're going to click any of these buttons, it will, you're now ready to paste it. If you like to copy, then you're now ready to paste it to your Excel application in that case. Another one, so I don't have the example of the output for that process, but let me show this one as well. You can also collect data from Facebook, like if you want to do sentiment analysis on what you'd like to know, how many agreed or disagreed to a specific post. So I'm just using this post on the GCQ, wherein GCQ guidelines on who are not allowed to go out. Okay, and we only have 111 comments as of the time that I extracted or performed the extraction here. So we only have 111 comments, and then if you want to collect all the comments from the users, you can do so. So how do you do that? Using your Chrome extension, you can perform by clicking the Chrome the button right at the side of your address bar. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to screenshot the button, but right after clicking, you can see this one, wherein this is the application. This is the Chrome extension Data Scraper, wherein you're going to identify or look for the data that you would like to extract. So notice there's try another table, meaning your data will change according to what has been selected. So for example, if initially it's going to select this, and it's going to treat this as a table, wherein you have the name of the owner of the post, and then the date, and then the content or the post itself. And then probably this will be a different table, and this will be a different table, and different table. So if you just click next table, or try another table, then this will also change according to what has been selected. So it's basically it does not go outside your Facebook, but rather you can also see it in your Facebook that it has been, such area has been selected for the extraction of data. And then I tried to, these are the comments, by the way. It says, can you please clarify the statement about choo-choo-choo, and then another user also stated with this EO and so on. So if you're going to visit that post in the province, then you can see all of this data or all of these comments there. Just make sure that you're going to load all of them so that you'll be able to collect all of this. And once you're done, you can click any of the two, either a CSV or the XLSX. By the way, you don't see the name uh, of the one who commented because I deleted that one for the sake of data privacy, but although you can still see it in the original post, but for presentation, I just removed that one. Now, if you already have this data and you're already contented, then you can just click CSV for a comma separated value type of file, or you can use the XLSX type of file, which can be opened in Microsoft Excel. Okay, once you have already downloaded that one, this is basically the comment. I just blurred the photo and the name of the Facebook user. These are the comments, and you can see it also here that it has the same text because that has been extracted already from Facebook. So just make sure that you're accessing also the public pages so that if you're going to access mga private ones, you might have problems later on for about data privacy. These are all the comments that you can see. If you're going to scroll this one, if you visit Facebook, you can compare all of this and then you can see it here or match it in the comment section. But if ever the user will be deleting that comment later, by the time that you're going to scrape or extract the data, you might not be able to get that comment. But if you have took that data prior to deleting the comments, then you can still save that one. You own it now. You have your own copy. Since I have presented already to you the social media and then data harvesting and then what are the tools that you can use. So let's try to understand what will be the process of data harvesting. Because when we perform data harvesting, we always do or follow a process. So the first one is, so this is the process. I hope the lines are clear on your part. The first one is to choose the source or the website or the social media that you want to get the data. Of course, with that, you also have the objective on what you would like to get. It's not just harvesting and harvesting without knowing what kind of data that you would like to extract. Will it be is it going to be a text or is it going to be a video or so? And if it's going to be a text, what kind of content that you would like to get from that specific site? Is it about the rating? Is it about the reviews? Or is it about the comments that has been posted by the users? Or is it going to be a numerical value that are available on the website? So things like that, you have to determine that one. And then you make sure that you have an automated crawler, which is the tool that I have presented to you for you to parse the target website. And then capture valuable information because you already know what you need to capture. Then you extract your data and then you export into a structured format Um, for novice users, you can use XLS. For some, they use CSV, and for programmers, they use JSON files to fit your data or use the data. So let me just connect what I have presented to you a while ago. So choosing the data, so we can see these different, choosing the source or the website, so we can identify where are we going to take down data, or where are we going to collect the data. So you can choose any of this, okay? And it's not limited to that one, but rather it's going to be, you can visit different pages if you want to. The next is to have an automated crawler. Okay, what you're going to do here is that you can choose any of the crawlers. Sorry, have an automated crawler. Okay, content. Okay, have an automated crawler, meaning you're going to choose any of this, and there's no need for programming experience, but rather if you just know how to download and then install it, and it's very, very easy for you to put it in your web browser, and then you can already collect data or harvest data. Okay. And then after which is that you are going to capture valuable information. So how do you capture valuable information? Using the crawler or the tool that you have already been using. So you do the capturing. Identify first what will be the data that you'd like to capture. You can remove the data or the column if you want to. And then once you're done, you can just click CSV or XLSX, or if you're using the Tabula extension, then you can just copy the entire table. After that, you extract the data. So this is how we can relate after extracting your data by clicking the XLS or the CSV. You can already generate your XLSX type of file and then see all of the data. You can even see the name of the Facebook user that commented to such post. But for this example, I tried to hide their names for data privacy. And the last one is to export into structured format. Okay. So why do we use extraction tools, data extraction tools? These are the different advantages of using data extraction tools, because there's a lot of data and time is also our concern. So the first one is to improve accuracy, meaning you're very sure that what has been collected are all correct, and there's no missing letter, or there's no missing data, or probably the rating of such movie of this user probably has been assigned to a different user, so there's no accuracy for that. But if you're going to use data extraction tool, it's already formatted, very easy, very quick, so you don't need to think about like how do you say it, like the ownership of such data for a specific user will be transferred to a different user. Okay, and reduces repetitive tasks as well, and it will also improve accuracy of the extracted data. For increased productivity, so with increased productivity, you will not be spending a lot of time and you can finish right away in extracting data. You don't need to keep on sitting and waiting on your working on your computer and doing some copying and pasting all throughout the day. So with just the help of the data extraction tools, and you will be able to get already the data in a certain amount of time, in a very short time. So there's a lot of things that you can finish as well. That's why it increases productivity. It also improves visibility, wherein the tool will provide the user with full visibility of all the records and can be managed the data easily because it can be seen right away in one type of format of file. You can see it there already being laid out and formatted in a table and column view. Of course, it also saves time. That's the same with productivity, and as well as save costs, wherein you in a larger business, or if you're going to do a larger scale of research with larger data, you don't need a lot of people to be working just to harvest data. That is already saving costs. You don't need to ask them to work for just doing harvesting data, but rather you can just run the data extraction tool and then you can already get it. So that will save you costs and save you time as well. So with that, those are the things that that we learned for this afternoon. Thank you. I hope you're able to learn something from my presentation.
Thank you so much, Professor Yao. And we take the presenter stand.
You're welcome, Ma'am Jenny.
Okay, so at this point of our presentation of our e-talk, the presenter is now ready to accept your questions or comments if there are any. Do we have any questions from the participants this afternoon?
Are there any questions?
I think one of the questions raised earlier is what is the difference between data harvesting and data mining?
In my own understanding and research, data harvesting is from the word harvest. You just collect the data or extract data. While in data mining, you have the data already, although there's a harvesting part right there, but it's more focused on giving a meaning of the data that you have collected, given a massive amount of data that you have already, making interpretations of the data, producing a meaning of the data, analysis of the data. That's data mining. But for data harvesting, it's more on the collection and will be used later on for analysis.
So in a way, it's easier to do data harvesting than data mining.
Somehow, I believe so that data harvesting is that much easier because it's just a process of extraction of data or
All right.
collecting data.
All right. Thank you so much, Assistant Professor Yao. Are there any other questions from our participants this afternoon? Let me just emphasize that this session is recorded, and so this can still be viewed by other students who would be visiting our page or our Silliman University TBI virtual office in the next few weeks. This is available for a week, so I hope other students will still throw questions and still be viewing this in the next days to come. As what was mentioned during our invitation, also Assistant Professor Yao, we will also be sharing this data or your talk to a greater public by making this public post available to all our viewers on the TBI page. Any other questions? Anyone here who would be interested in the near future to do some research or to harvest data from the social media in order to produce more accurate and more relevant results in the research? Okay, I think we have one more participant who is typing his question. Okay, so the question is, how are we going to make sure that the data harvested were unique? I think the question refers to the whether a particular harvested data comes from the same user or from unique users whenever you harvest them.
Basically, I'm not sure if I got your question, but rather, whatever that you harvested um, will be used later on for analysis or interpretation. So before you perform those things like doing different process right after the harvesting, you have to clean your data. That's where data mining comes in. That's how I see it. You clean your data, make sure that there are no duplicates because that will affect your your interpretation later on or your decision making later on, or rather coming up with a uh, new learning out from the data. So right after harvesting, you clean your data. That includes the process of removing duplicates, removing data that are unnecessary or not relevant to your research. And that's the time that you're going to process your data already for new output.
So, Ma'am Yao, for example, if you harvest data from online, you would be able to tell
Mm-hmm.
that okay, this result, regardless of whether they are unique or not, this result comes from the same user. So, for example, like out of 10 comments, or say 100 comments, 10 of them comes from
Mm-hmm.
the same user. So you could actually remove them so that it will only count as one.
Yes. And also, I'm pretty sure that Microsoft Excel has the feature to remove duplicates without you reading each of the comments one by one. So if they have the same example, the same Facebook username, same comments, and
Mhm.
same time or date, that can be removed by using Microsoft Excel.
Or like for example, probably another comment, a different comment, but coming from the same user. Is it possible?
Um, that's already part of your scope and limitations as researcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sige. Thank you so much. Do we have other
Okay,
questions
welcome.
from other participants? Okay. So I think we are encouraging all the other participants at the moment and also in the future those students who will be viewing this particular recording that if they have questions, they could send it to tbi@su.edu.ph. So without further ado, at this point of our presentation, I'd like to present the certificate of recognition to our speaker for this e-talk this afternoon, Assistant Professor Marian S. Yao, for sharing her expertise as session speaker about the topic data harvesting from social media during the Sinergy TBI second e-talk session held today, May 4, 2020 at 4 to 5:30 p.m. via TBI virtual office on Seoul. So thank you so much. Signed by yours truly. And for the other participants, we would like to invite you to join us for another session next week. For Monday, our speaker will be Assistant Professor Flor Caceres, who will be sharing with us about, say, for example, if you are a startup and how do you acquire funding and how do you manage your finances. And we will be sharing with you through our Facebook account as to how to get to this or what is the schedule of this particular talk. But this is going to be on Monday next week, and I hope you will be there again, and I hope you will also be inviting your students to join us. Once again, this is Silliman University TBI, and I would like to invite you, if you are not yet connected with us, to go to facebook.com and look for Silliman TBI. Like us so that you will know about the activities that we do in spite of our community quarantine, as well as our Instagram account at Silliman Sinergy TBI. You may also send us an email for any questions or suggestions, or if you have any idea that you have in your mind, send us an email to tbi@su.edu.ph. And at this point of our presentation, we also would like to invite the participants to please create or send us a feedback. We have an eTalk post-evaluation page here. The link is on tinyurl.com/etalkfeedback. You can see it on your screen. We will also be sharing it on our screenshot for easy access. Please take a few moments to fill this up, and then so that we will find more room for improvement, and so we would know what other topics you would find relevant for our next few sessions in the next few weeks, and we will be more than happy to hear them out. So thank you so much, and please again let me share with you that particular link. Again, it's https://tinyurl.com/etalkfeedback. This is going to be a requirement so that you will receive your certificate for this particular session. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am Jan.
Thank you, Yan.
Thank you.